So I finished watching season 2 of Andor recently and thought it was excellent, except for one thing.
Is this really how you'd like to start the day?
So I'm going to tell you about it. And here is your warning that there are spoilers ahead.
Revolution is not for the saying. You're right here, and you're ready to fight. There's a future here for those who dare. Welcome to the rebellion.
Andor is a Star Wars show, and it's all about the events that build up to Rogue One. Now, just to let you know, I consider myself to be a casual Star Wars fan. I only saw all the films fairly recently, except for Ewoks: The Battle for Endor, which was somehow my favourite film as a child, but I had no idea that it was a sequel, or that it was a Star Wars thing, or even what Star Wars was. So I'm coming at this from someone who kind of likes other Star Wars properties, but I wouldn't consider myself a devoted fan.
I'm a tourist.
In general, Andor is such a well-made TV show. The script, the performances, the editing, the music, the sound effects are all top tier.
I know this already.
It does a truly terrific job at weaving all the different lines of action together. You feel so connected to the characters, even the villains.
Resistance is absurd.
Think about all the features or techniques or storytelling methods you would want to see in a TV show, and you get them here. I was absolutely hooked from start to finish with both seasons. So even if you're not a Star Wars fan, I think it's definitely worth your time because it's a compelling story, really well told. Saying all that though, there was something about it that I didn't like, and it was the flashback concerning Luthen, played by Stellan Skarsgård, and Clea, played by Elizabeth Dulau. First, let me paint you a picture. These two characters are in the rebellion. Luthen is a pretty big deal in the rebellion, and he runs a gallery of antiques and objects of interest as part of his cover, and it enables him to spy effectively on the Empire, and Clea is his assistant. Now, throughout the 2 seasons, the show does a really good job at developing their relationship.
You're guessing.
And you're slipping.
The dialogue between them, the actors' delivery, and body language all contribute to the audience's understanding of their relationship. These two have clearly been through some things together and share the same goal. It all feels completely real and authentic. As we approach the climax of the season, it's episode 10, I believe, Luthen's cover has been blown, and Dedra, who is played by Denise Gough and delivers a truly spectacular performance as an Imperial officer, has come to take him in, but before she can, Luthen attempts suicide by stabbing himself so the Empire can't take him alive. But he's not dead yet. Dedra calls her squad in, they stabilise Luthen and take him to hospital where they want to keep him alive. And Clea's just not having any of it, and in a wonderfully tense sequence we watch as she gains entry to the hospital, finds Luthen, and finishes him off herself. An absolutely wonderful piece of television. No notes, except for this one. As this is all happening, we start getting flashbacks to when Luthen and Clea first met. Back in the day, he was an Imperial Army trooper sergeant, but he wasn't really that into it, and she was a child trying to escape a massacre. She managed to gain access to his ship and was hiding in a box where he finds her and not only spares her life, but takes her in. We then get a bit of a sequence of flashbacks of different moments of their lives together, some of the more poignant and relevant things that they've done. Now, the problem with this whole thing for me is that it feels a bit out of place with the rest of the show. It feels jarring and unnecessary, and it doesn't feel subtle, and it's like the show is really trying to spoon feed you something, which really isn't the case for the rest of the show. They've aged down Stellan Skarsgård, which doesn't look very natural, and his performance during these moments isn't great.
Make it stop. Make it stop.
It all feels very out of place, and for me it simply wasn't necessary in this moment. It's as though it's been included to try and really emphasise how difficult this is for Clea to be the one to end Luthen's life. We're seeing what she is willing to sacrifice for the rebellion, but like I said previously, I think the script and their performances up until this point have shown us all that. The world that has been created and designed around them can lead the audience to understand how significant they are to one another and to the rebellion, and I feel like these flashbacks break the flow of that and do break the tension somewhat, and they just don't add anything to the story. Anyway, to only find one thing I didn't like about the show is pretty impressive, and we'll still take a look at the critical reception out of curiosity, but I don't think this is going to be underrated or underseen. So at the time of recording, it gets an 8.5 on IMDb, and over on Rotten Tomatoes, it gets 89% from the audience and 96% from the critics, which is incredibly high, but you know what? I think maybe it deserves it. Well, there you have it. What did you think of Andor? Or is there a film or TV show that you think I should take a look at? Let me know in the comments, and I'll be back soon with more thoughts on things that I've watched. Bye!